It's racist, in a word. It's discriminatory. It is not applied to other communities in this society. It was ostensibly introduced to control how money goes around within the community. I mean, what? I mean, that must have been somebody's worst nightmare. Maybe it was Mel Brough who came up with that nightmare, I don't know. But they'd suspended, the Howard government suspended the Racial Discrimination Act specifically to implement that policy in Indigenous communities. There was a lot of nonsense being spoken about high rates of child sexual abuse in communities. Look, I'm a lawyer. I've worked in the Northern Territory and I've worked in New South Wales and I come from Queensland. I know about those issues. They are there. But the way it was being talked up at the time of this policy being implemented in the Northern Territory, that was supposed to be a major problem. It is not a major problem.
So what should be the priorities of the incoming government when it comes to Indigenous affairs?
Well, health, of course, health, housing, education and employment. They haven't changed. They haven't changed, and therefore they are still at the centre of our concerns. The basic problems have never been properly addressed. So we still have, for example, Indigenous lifespans are it's a hideous situation. Men and women both die at much earlier ages than any other ethnic or racial cohort in our whole society. That is absolutely scandalous. And it's going to take generations of work, but unless governments put a damned lot of resources into it now and really attack it as not a long-term thing, or not even you know, well, we're only here for 3 years or 4 years, so it doesn't matter, you know, but to have a sense that these sorts of things will carry on into generations.
You're advocating for a capacity building approach in our communities. Does it concern you then that the government seem to be tending the other way to a top-down approach? And I guess an example of that would be the new Indigenous Advisory Council that Tony Abbott is setting up.
Yes, of course it does. It doesn't, because it presupposes, I mean, it's completely embedded in this notion that the answers lie with a person, an individual at the top. I mean, apart from the fact that it shows a total failure of imagination, no one individual is capable of advising any other one individual how things should work for an entire collection of communities. It's an absurd proposition if we start to pick it apart. I don't know that these advisors, these hand-picked advisors, have that kind of breadth of analytical thinking. In fact, I'm pretty sure they don't.